Do you want to know how to get better at MM2 on mobile? Well, don't worry, I've got you covered. It's the Potato Games here, and today we're going to be going over tips and tricks for Murder Mystery 2 on mobile. Let's get right into the video. I went ahead and split this video into 3 parts, Sheriff, Murder, and Innocent, so here are the timestamps if you want to go ahead and skip to whichever one you need, or just watch the full video for general tips. Starting off, we have Sheriff. Number 1, stay away from large groups of people, because that's usually what murderers look for if they're going for like their first kill or whatever. They're probably going to go for large groups of people because they can get multiple people at once, and if one of them's Sheriff, then, you know, it's really good for them because then right off the bat, Sheriff is dead. Number 2, avoid equipping your gun before you know who Murderer is. I would always wait until you know who it is and you're ready to shoot before equipping it, because if Murderer sees that you're Sheriff, they're probably more than likely going to target you first, so that you don't even have a chance to figure out that, you know, they're Murderer and you don't really have, like, any shot at all.
Literally.
Number 3, don't shoot randomly. Even if you're trying to attract the murderer, just go out and look for them. It's easier and a safer idea instead of just, you know, getting the murderer to come to you, especially if you're not ready for it and they don't have their knife out. It's just not a good idea. This video playing in the background is kind of a bad example of a sheriff round because there was a large group of teamers in my server, so they just weren't really playing the game, and one of them happened to be murderer, so here I just, you know, figured out who it was and shot them. But in general, that's kind of another tip. Don't team. You're ruining the game for other people who just want to play it, you know, so just don't team. The next set of tips is for murderer. Number 1, this one's kind of similar to sheriff, but try to keep your knife unequipped until you're ready to kill someone. If you want, like after you've made your first kill, you can keep your knife out. That's personally what I do. I find it easier, but it's really up to you if you want to go for a more stealthy approach in murderous. Like, it's really up to you how you want to play the game. Number 2, utilize throwing. It's really helpful, especially in mobile, because they have a little target that automatically throws it towards that person for you. But you can also just tap wherever and it'll go there. And you also get more XP from it, so throwing kills, you know, they're really good, and it's definitely a tool you should utilize, especially on mobile, because like I mentioned, that has that little target, which you can kind of see here in the video. Number 3, try not to camp. It's annoying for other people, but just in general, it doesn't help you find anyone else, and usually if you camp, it'll end up with innocents winning anyways, so it's not that helpful for you in reality. It's really not. A lot of people think it is, but, you know, unless every single person tries to get the gun, it's not that helpful. Number 4, don't spam jump. It's much easier to go in a zigzag pattern and jump here and there, because not only is it more efficient at avoiding gunshots because the sheriff and hero can't guess where you're going to go, but it also throws them off a lot more. When you're spam jumping, they can just guess where you're going to go and shoot there, and you're more than likely going to be hit. If there's a hacker in your game like there was in this clip from a different round I was playing as murderer, just try to avoid them or server hop. There's nothing you can really do about it. Next up, tips for innocent. Number 1, I mentioned this in sheriff as well, try to avoid big groups of people because murderer will more than likely target those first. Number 2, try to stay out of sheriff or hero's way. I know a lot of people go near sheriff or hero, whoever has the gun, because they want to try to get it, but you don't want to get caught in crossfire and then end up killing you both. If you want to try to get the gun, stay near them, but make sure you're not in the way of the murderer or wherever they're shooting. Number 3, there's not really much you can do when you're playing innocent, so I recommend using this time to farm coins or any other event currency that's in the game at that time. Number 4, I don't recommend hiding early game. The murderer still has a lot of time that they could walk around the whole map and eventually find you before you even get to the point where innocents would win. If you do want to hide, I recommend waiting till at least 700 XP or maybe even 800, because that way the murderer doesn't have a lot of time to go around and find you. Number 5, the best thing you can do is try to avoid the murderer at all costs, but if they do end up getting close to you and chasing you, it is definitely a good idea to try and learn some jukes that could help you get away from the murderer. Number 6, this one's a general tip, but I recommend going into other games such as MM2 Aim Trainer that can help you learn to aim better as both murderer and sheriff, as well as just generally get better at the game. If you want to focus more on getting better at playing innocent, you can go into a game like Murderers vs Sheriffs that can help you learn to avoid gunshots and knife throws. That is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed and maybe learned some helpful tips that you can use and implement into your gameplay. As always, make sure to comment any video ideas or suggestions you have, and I'll make sure to look into every single one of them. Bye guys!